Forget everything you have been told about networking, building rapport, and soft skills of your next career move. If you are a mid-career engineer trying to pivot into a corporate management or human resources, traditional career counselor will tell you to soften your edges. They will tell you to take courses on emotional intelligence, practice your small talk, and act more like a traditional HR administrator. This is an absolute worst advice you can possibly have. Most HR departments today are just inefficient algorithms waiting to be exploited by someone with an actual technical mindset. We are not going to ask for permission to enter the HR industry. We are going to treat this career pivot as a high-stakes data optimization problem to completely dismantle the gatekeeping and dominate the corporate landscape. What if you could hack the hiring process by treating the job market exactly as it is? A broken system of nodes, variables, and data points. Today, we are bypassing the traditional recruitment barriers by deploying cold, hard engineering logic. To bypass the human bias, I am going to show you how to build a result-driven, automated pipeline that flags high-yield opportunities across India and UAE before they even hit the public job board. Grab a notebook. It is time to stop applying for jobs like a liberal arts major. Weaponize your logic and master your mid-career transition and master your mid-level transition with a surgical precision. Welcome back. I'm Dr. H. To understand why my approach to the global labor market is aggressively different from anything you will read on a generic career blog, you must understand my underlying architecture. I do not look at career transitions as emotional journey. I look at them as mathematical equations of supply, demand, and structural leverage. My foundation is deeply rooted in a systems architecture. I hold a bachelor's in engineering, specifically computer science. I paired that highly algorithmic mindset with a master's and a PhD in human resources, operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, and the consulting for apex corporate entities across the Middle East and India. I know exactly how institutional algorithms calculate value. I made the exact pivot you are trying to make. I look at hard engineering background and hacked my way into the apex of human capital strategy. When engineers try to pivot into HR or a strategic management, they usually fail because they abandon their greatest asset, their ability to design systems. They try to play the people's game. You will not win at the people's game against someone who has been doing this for last 15 years. But they cannot beat you at the systems game. And in 2026, HR is no longer a people function. It is a complex data system function. Let us break down exactly how you execute this hostile takeover. Phase 1, the hacker perspective, dismantling the ATS. The first barrier to your career transition is the applicant tracking system, ATS. When you apply for a mid to senior HR operations or a tech strategy role, human being does not read your resume. The resume is ingested by an algorithm that uses NLP, the natural language processing, and TF-IDF, the term frequency inverse document frequency, scoring to rank your relevance to the job description. If you write a traditional resume filled with paragraphs about your passion for people and your agile teamwork, the algorithm drops your relevance score to 0 and deletes you. You must treat your resume as a data payload designed to exploit the ATS logic. The keyword matrix injection. You are an engineer. Treat the job description as a target schema. You must map the exact semantic clusters the ATS is searching for. It is not looking for a soft skill, it is looking for a workforce analytics, human capital information system, HCIS, predictive attrition modeling, and lean process optimization. You must strip your engineering resume of a purely technical jargon like specific Git commits or backend server configuration and replace it with HR system equivalent. Do not say optimize SQL queries to reduce server load. Say architectured structured data pipeline to optimize enterprise-wide HR reporting, reducing decision latency for the executive board by 40%. You are bypassing the human bias of a junior recruiter who thinks engineers cannot do HR by forcing the machine to rank you at 99% match for the system optimization. You hack the gatekeeper by feeding the algorithm exactly what it is programmed to crave. Phase 2. The India-UAE arbitrage corridor. To execute this pivot at the highest compensation levels, you must treat the geographical macroeconomics dynamics between India and the UAE as a spatial data problem. The Indian talent saturation, the origin node. In India, the mid-level career technical talent is highly saturated. The massive global capability centers in Bangalore are optimizing for efficiency, leading to wage stagnation for pure engineers. You are a commodity in a high-density node. But the rigorous, uncompromising technical foundation you built in India is your absolute greatest asset. The UAE deployment zone. The UAE operates as an apex deployment node, driven by the economics mandate like D33. Dubai Corporation are rapidly importing complex HR software like Workday, SAP, SuccessFactors, customized LLMs to manage massive diverse workforces. In here is a data gap. Dubai has plenty of traditional HR administrator and they have plenty of pure software vendors, but they completely lack is a traditional translation layer. The professionals who understand the hard back-end code of the HR software and the strategic business objective of the Chief Human Resource Officer, your play is to extract the engineering logic you forged in the Indian market, package it as HR system architecture, and deploy it into the UAE talent corridor. You are treating your career like a data packet, moving it from a high-latency, congested network, the India, to a high-bandwidth, high-demand network, the UAE HR tech. Phase 3. The result-driven pipeline. You are an engineer, so why are you applying for jobs manually like a liberal arts major? Clicking easy apply on a LinkedIn is a low probability, high friction endeavor. Stop guessing and start mapping skill gap correlation. You need to build an automated pipeline that flags high-yield opportunities before they even hit the public board. Step 1. The trigger event monitor. In the corporate world, hiring happens when a system breaks or a system changes. You need to set up automated alerts using Google Alerts, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, or custom web scraping scripts for specific corporate triggers event in the UAE. Trigger 1. A company announces a massive merger or acquisition. They will need someone to integrate two entirely different HR systems together. Trigger 2. A company announces a transition to an HRIS like moving from Oracle to Workday. Trigger 3. A new CHRO is hired from outside. A new leadership always restructure operations within their first 90 days. Step 2. The skill gap correlation map. When your pipeline flags a target company, you do not apply to the generic HR manager posting. You analyze their public job boards for structural weaknesses. If a company in Dubai is desperately hiring for a Workday data architect and an HR strategy director at the exact same time, there is a massive communication gap in their organization. The tech team does not understand the HR strategy and the HR strategy team does not understand the tech. Step 3. The Trojan horse pitch. You do not send a resume, you send a solution architecture. You find the CHRO or the COO on the LinkedIn and send a cold, highly calibrated message. I notice you are currently overhauling your HRIS architecture while scaling your operations team. Traditional HR cannot bridge the data migration gap you are currently facing. I am a systems engineer pivoting into human capital strategy. I can map your technical data architecture directly to your organization development goal, saving you the cost of hiring external consultant for integration. Let's discuss the pipeline. You bypass the HR portal entirely. You bypass the human bias. You inject yourself directly into the executive decision matrix. Phase 4. Weaponizing logic in the interview. When your automated pipeline successfully secures an interview, you must change the rules of the engagement. Traditional HR interviews are filled with subjective, emotional trap questions. Tell me about a time you resolved a conflict. How do you handle difficult personalities? If you try to answer these like a traditional HR person, you will lose. You must weaponize your logic and force the interviewer to play your game. You treat the interview as a system diagnosis, the algorithmic response. When they ask you a soft skill question, you answer with a system design engineering framework. Interviewer: how do you handle an underperforming employee? You, the engineer: I do not rely on subjective emotional assessment. I treat underperformance as a system failure. First, I run a diagnostic on the inputs. Does the employee have the correct data, tools, and training? Second, I evaluate the process constraint. Are there organizational bottlenecks preventing their execution? Only after I have verified the system's architecture is sound do I address the behavioral output. When you remove the emotions and look at the variables, performance management becomes a data optimization problem, which is exactly how I plan to scale your HR department. When you answer like this, you completely short-circuit brain. You destroy their preconceived bias about what an HR professional sounds like. You force them to view you not as a junior HR candidate, but as an elite high-level operational architect. You turn the interview into a whiteboard session. You ask about their data silos. You ask about their API integration between payroll and performance management. You identify the structural waste, the MUDA, in their employee lifecycle. You command the room through undeniable cold logic. Look closely at the mechanics of the market. The professionals who are panicking about the career pivots are the ones relying on hope. They are hoping a recruiter notices them. They are hoping their soft skills translate. They are submitting resume into a black hole and waiting for a permission to change their lives. You are an engineer. You build systems for a living. It is time to build a system for yourself. Treat the job market as a database. Hack the ATS by mapping the semantic payload. Arbitrage the talent gap between the saturated Indian tech and the strategic UAE deployment zone. Build automated pipeline to detect executive trigger event and weaponize your logic in the boardroom to bypass the human bias. Forget traditional networking. Dominate the data. If you're a technical professional ready to completely rewire your systematic approach to the global market and execute a flawless mid-career pivot into a high-level strategic role, the ultimate manual is waiting for you. For the record, my brand new book, The 2026 Career Architect, is officially live and available for download right now exclusively on Namaste AI. So stop applying like an amateur. Start hacking the architecture. Process the blip, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.